Welcome to the only daily podcast focusing on compliance news of the day. Each morning, start your day with a cup of coffee and Tom Fox, the voice of compliance, to hear about 4 of the top compliance, corruption, or leadership stories you will need to start your day. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network.
First, a word from our sponsor. The Daily Compliance News for May 4, 2024. May the 4th be with you. And if you don't know what that reference means, well, sorry. Our first story comes to us from the New York Times, and it is how Elon Musk does not have a business plan, i.e. he just wings it based upon impulse and what he feels. He has no plans on how to manage or finance Twitter, and he simply called up his buddies to help get him some funding to purchase it. To a degree unseen by any other mogul, Musk acts on whim, fancy, and the certainty that he is 100% right. So, what's your business plan? Well, if you're Elon Musk, you just wing it. Next up, and probably the biggest story of the day in the U.S. at least, is it looks like the Supreme Court is going to overturn Roe versus Wade. As a compliance officer, you need to be ready for some significant protests by your company employees, at least those that are pro-choice. And the other thing that's significant about this is it is unprecedented for a draft of a Supreme Court opinion to be leaked, which is how this story came out. So expect significant fallout from this and be ready. Next up from the Financial Times, an expanded UK sanctions regime that is intended to tackle global corruption and illicit money from entering Britain is proving ineffective, according to campaigners. The UK global anti-corruption sanction has been undermined by a lack of designation against individuals and companies, insufficient coordination and information sharing between countries, and limitations in enforcement and implementation. Part of this it stems from the Russian invasion and increased awareness of sanctions, but certainly a damning criticism from the around the UK sanctions regime. And finally, from the Securities and Exchange Commission, as reported by the Wall Street Journal, the SEC will boost the size of a special unit devoted to investigating crypto frauds and other misconduct. This follows the agency's aggressive push to get the unregulated industry under some sort of federal regulation. Really no surprise here, but it shows the SEC really intends to do something about crypto. And we should expect not only additional regulations, but from this story, it looks like the SEC is going to ramp up enforcement after these regs are put into place. So for businesses, you need to be ready for this increased push on crypto regulation and enforcement. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network and a proud member of C-Suite Radio. Thanks so much for listening. I hope you'll join me again tomorrow.
This podcast is a part of the C-Suite Radio Network. For more top business podcasts, visit c-suiteradio.com.